What is up, NFC North fans? It is time for the roundtable of arguably the best division in football. My name is Jesse. I will be hosting the show this year. Let me bring in the panel. Fellas, how we doing tonight? Bass, how are you?
Great. A preseason game wasn't so great, but I want to give a big shout out to the chat, everyone that subbed. We recently hit 6K on here. I think we hit it before last show, but I wasn't able to say it out. But I know we were kind of teetering on that point right as the season ended last year, and I'm like, okay, might be next year when we hit that 6K. But shout out to everyone, new subscribers. Go hit the like down below as well. But feeling good for week 2, I guess.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, I think other than the AFC East, which was like the original show on this channel, you guys are the highest sub count here. So that's a big deal. Absolutely. You guys are crushing it. One Bar, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing great. Tons of subs, best division in football. It's going to be a great year. Vikings got the Patriots in town doing some joint practices coming off the Texans game. It's been a good week. I'm looking forward to talking some football.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tonight we're going to do a recap of last week's games, and then we're going to get into these joint practices because, I mean, quite frankly, joint practices mean more, I think, anyways, than the preseason game. So we'll get into that. Nick, calling from jail. You going to have enough time here on this collect call, or what's up?
Yeah. The sheriff was really cool about it. But we're good. Not calling in from the corporate slave ship that I'm in. So yeah, technically jail. But overall, it's a really bad jail. Really good overall. I'm pumped because of the fact that Bears starters will be playing this weekend. So that's exciting news to say the least, but can't complain, brother. Football's finally almost back.
Absolutely. Well, you guys will see that there is an empty spot there. That's for the Lions fan who talked the most trash last week and then decided he has picture day, whatever that means. We're still confused. We don't know. Is he in high school still? We're not sure. We'll figure that out. He will be here at some point, but that's where Dion's at. He's got picture day. So we'll all learn together what that means. But we have some great things that we can definitely get to before Doses here. And we're actually going to start with you, One Bar. I want to talk about the Vikings and Texans game. Interestingly enough, I actually host the AFC South Roundtable as well. So I got the perspective from the Texans side, but I would love to hear your perspective from the Viking side. Talk to me about all the things that happened in this game that were pertinent, things that you took away, maybe some things that you're concerned about, whatever's on your mind, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's preseason game 1. You can't think too much in the preseason game. That's my mindset. But the biggest talker for this was JJ McCarthy. Obviously, this is his first action since being injured. This is probably that's going to be the only action he's going to get this preseason. Like you said, these joint practices are going to be a lot more important than those games anyways, so that's going to be huge. But going back to the game, I mean, McCarthy looked fine. He was out there for a series, 4 for 7. They ended up getting a field goal. It was nothing to be like, oh my God, we're going to win the Super Bowl. But he did kind of what I expected him to do. So JJ McCarthy looked very good. His awareness was great. He made some good throws. Jordan Addison, him and Jordan Addison have quite the connection. Every practice, those guys are having big plays. It carried over to this game. Joint practice today, same thing. Obviously, Addison being out for the first 3 games is a big old gut punch, but McCarthy looked just fine. As far as the rest of the game, I mean, defensively, a lot of the starters were out. A lot of the big boys were out. None of the defensive line was there. None of the edge rushers. So the bread and butter was kind of gone. And it was very clear. Houston came out early and made our second team defense against our second team offense look pretty brutal. So if there was any concern, it'd be like, all right, our depth on the second team defense, a little concerns there. But nothing that I'm worrying about. The positive side of that is Gabe Murphy on defense. The man is a monster. He was an undrafted free agent last year out of UCLA, got injured, so we didn't get to see much of him. But, I mean, you can look at this. Is it a good thing or bad thing? But he looked better than Dallas Turner. I mean, it sucks to say, but I don't give a crap. He played the best guy out there. And Gabe Murphy, he was playing like a madman. He had 1.5 sacks, and he was consistently in the backfield. So that was great to see. The running game, real quick, I just want to touch on that. Aaron Jones didn't play, but we got to see Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, I think he was like 4 for 20-ish. But he looked like what I expect from Jordan Mason. He's getting those tough yards and playing hard. It was great to see that. But our offensive line was almost complete. Darrisaw not out there still with the injury. Sounds like he will be ready to go for week 1. But the guards, just seeing some guards play with a little bit of nastiness is beautiful. Our guards in center, Garrett Bradbury, who is actually in town with the Patriots this week, has been so brutal to watch, the Blake Brandles and stuff. It was so nice to see some nasty guard play out there. I think this offensive line, especially when Darrisaw is out there, is going to be a beautiful thing. But to put a bow on it, overall, it's preseason. I'm not going to look too much into it, but there's nothing that came out of this game. We're like, oh man, we are screwed. We are absolutely screwed. It was more just like, some of these guys that we've heard a lot about in camp, they're playing well. And the starters that were out there, they look good.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I'm glad that Jordan Mason looked good. Jordan Mason is such little cross between Marion Barber and Lynch, Marshawn Lynch. Like, he's got that style. He's physical, man. And he's going to be a great addition to that team. I'm really excited to see him play. I hope that he does great. I wish the 49ers were able to keep him, but it just didn't work out. So glad to hear that he is doing well. How's the secondary look, out of curiosity? Is you guys' secondary looking pretty good this year? Or
we'll see. They had Murphy didn't play. Harrison Smith didn't play. So again, it was kind of tough to get a feel for that. But as far as the second string, third string D, they look like second, third stringers, to be honest. It wasn't like, holy cow, we are locked down. Mekhi Blackman, third rounder from 2 years ago, who was out all last year, got a ton of playing time. He didn't look very good. Zamiah Vaughn, an undrafted free agent that they signed, had some moments, so that was good to see. But secondary wise, I don't know. Theo Jackson is a safety that the Vikings are pretty high on. He looked pretty good. One thing I didn't notice on the offense side of the ball, real quick, Rondale Moore, a guy that was fighting for that wide receiver 4 or 5, and also the punt returner. He's done for the year, 2 years in a row with the Falcons. Last year he tore his ACL. So that was a gut punch. Not even to a guy that we're really counting on, but it'll be interesting to see with Addison suspended for 3 games. You throw in Rondale Moore out. Are the Vikings going to be looking at possibly bringing in a receiver? So that's a big question right now in Viking land. Yeah, just want to mention that Moore's out.
You guys still have Naylor, don't you? Or did he go elsewhere this offseason?
Okay.
He's
some
decent.
of us wish we didn't have Jalen Naylor, but he's
really?
definitely
You don't
still
like
on the team.
Him? Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's got any fingers. His hands are kind of like cement blocks at sometimes. He likes to drop the ball a lot. I don't like the thought. Justin Jefferson, obviously, but as of now, Jalen Naylor is wide receiver 2, weeks 1 through 3.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ideal. All right. Well, before we get over to Bass here in a second, too evil to hope. Max Brosmer will take over after McCarthy goes out. Wow. That's
predicting McCarthy going out. That's bold. Max Brosmer he was the Gophers quarterback, and he's kind of the everybody's loving him in training camp. He's lighting up training camp. He's the darling of training camp this year. He goes out in this preseason game and has a beautiful game, touchdown drive, and then even joint practices today, a great practice. So he's just everybody is. We don't even know if he's going to make the 53 or not. He's just the guy that everybody loves, and he's playing very well.
The most popular guy on every team is the backup quarterback.
Oh yeah,
I swear. You know what I mean? Like, that's everybody loves the backup. All right, Bass, you gotta talk to me here, man. You guys, the only ones in the division to lose a game this week, 30-10. Jordan Love is hurt now as well, I believe. So I don't know. Luckily, it's his non-throwing hand. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I really don't. No, but I just want to cause some drama, get these guys stirred up. No, talk to me about this Jets game. What were some of your takeaways from it?
Yeah, man, it was brutal. I'm not usually the one to overreact on a preseason game. Like, the end result doesn't matter at all. But what does matter is, I would say, the preparation. Right, you're going into a game. You just were practicing for the last month, right? And you go into a game and it just doesn't seem like some of the players want to be there, which is kind of my issue with it. Like, there was no physicality. There wasn't back end of the roster players like really seeming like, okay, I got to fight for a roster spot in this game, where you watch other preseason games and you're watching crazy plays happen, or players that you never heard of make a play here or there. And you're like, wow, that guy's, playing his ass off to make this roster. I didn't really see any of that too much. There's a couple on this roster from this game, but overall just a very sloppy game. And I'll start off by saying this is, the offense was pretty brutal. So was the defense. I mean, just get 30 points scored on you, but I know one of which was a defensive touchdown. So 23 points more so. But Adam Stenavich was calling plays for the Packers, and Matt LaFleur does this often. So obviously Matt LaFleur is the play caller for the Green Bay Packers, and in my opinion is their best option there. And I think he just lets Stenavich do it for preseason, which it seems like every time that happens, the offense just looks so boring. Like I think the Packers, 3.8 average yards per pass, right? 10 for 22, 64 yards. And before I dive into anything else, some people may be looking at the box score, may just be looking at, Jordan Love 1 for 5 for 7 yards. But I'll say this, I mean, the drops were still there. And we talked about this last week with, if the Packers can stay healthy and catch the football, they can be a dangerous team this year. And it's not just backups, fringe roster guys dropping the football. Like right on the first drive, Romeo Doubs drops 2 straight passes. And I'll say that Sauce Gardner was playing super physical, like he was, but that's kind of what I wanted to see from the Packers as well. Like I wanted them to play physical, kind of, hit back at the Jets, even it being just a preseason game. You want to see that. You want to see that mental preparation as well. But Jordan Love, other than that, he was on target. He threw with sometimes too much velocity on his passes. He was hitting his reads correctly. The one deep throw to Musgrave, I watched it on all 22, and it looks like when you watch it in the game, it looks like a miss by Love. But when you watch it on all 22, Musgrave's running a seam in between the cover 2 safeties as he should. The look is there, and he just stops running and starts to turn around while the ball's in the air. So it's like if he kept going, like that might be a touchdown, because Musgrave's a fast tight end, but he's always had issues staying on his feet. He always has. So, when I look at it, I'm not trying to say Jordan Love played perfectly or anything. Honestly, his scramble at the end, trying to create more time, is what got him hurt. When it's a preseason game, just throw the ball away or throw it to someone, give your guy a chance. It's a preseason game. Who cares? And tried scrambling around, ended up hitting his hand on the defender's helmet. And that's where we're at now with his thumb, which I'm sure we'll dive into on this. But outside of that, man, it was just kind of ugly. Also on the defensive side, the special teams, McCole Hardman, a guy that's been balling out in camp, goes out there, fumbles a punt inside the 5, fair catches one inside the 5, and then drops a pass on offense. And everyone's just like, okay, yep, there's the McCole Hardman we all know and love, right? He's balling out in camp. I'm sure you guys all have players on your team every year that they ball out in camp, and then the preseason games come. You're like, okay, no, this guy is not it. But hopefully he can bounce back. But it was not good for McCall Hardman. It's not really good for any receivers. Like I said, Romeo Doubs 2 drops. Matthew Golden did get his first career catch on a quick slant, so that was nice to see. I guess that was kind of the highlight of our first 2 drives. A couple of the backup tight ends got a catch each. That's kind of what I'm picking at right now. Like there's not really much to go over because there really wasn't much to happen. The only big play from the Packers was from Amar Johnson, a late run in this game, a 39-yarder, broke a couple tackles and took it to the house. So he was definitely one of the winners from this game. I'd say 2 other players that impressed me in this game, one of which Jordan Morgan, starting at left tackle. He's been kind of, playing pretty hot right now with a hot streak with Rasheed Walker being out with injury. And I thought he did really well in this game, going against some of the Jets starters, rotational depth guys, edge rushers as well. So really like what I've been seeing from Jordan Morgan so far at left tackle. And also Barron Sorrell, our 4th round rookie out of Texas. He had 2 pressures in this game, put on some nasty pass rush moves against Olu Fashanu, which is very impressive because Fashanu's a dog in pass protection, in my opinion. So really nice to see Barron Sorrell getting some action there. Brenton Cox Jr. on the other edge. I liked the pass, although we didn't get any sacks. I did like the pass rush. I did like what the Packers were doing. The defense overall, some people looked at it and they said, oh, it was because the Packers were running a vanilla defense. They really weren't. Like Jeff Hafley was still calling like simulated pressures on the early drives, bailing out safeties, pre-snap, post-snap, all of that. But the middle of the field was just wide open. I mean, it was an absolute abysmal game for Isaiah Simmons, another free agent we brought in this offseason. There's a play I posted on X, and he's just absolutely lost out there, like running around in circles. And they throw it to, like, I think it was Andrew Beck. Shout out Andrew Beck, ex-Packer, right across the middle for a wide open gain. It's just an ugly game, and I want to see more preparation. And now it just stinks because Love's hurt going into this joint practice tomorrow, going into this preseason game on Saturday. I think 4 receivers are hurt. So Watson's on the PUP. I'm sure we'll dive down in injuries, but Watson's on the PUP. Just to quickly go over this. Reed's in a boot. Dobbs got hurt in yesterday's practice, and who else? Wicks is hurt with a calf injury. So it's like all these guys that you want to continue to get on the same page as Love and fix these drops and start to build this up. Even if Love was available, they're also not available. So it's just rough. We're going through an injury bug right now. And, at this point, just bubble wrap Matt Golden. Just like, okay, week 1, buddy, like you're good. You did enough in this camp. Bubble wrap him. Because he's like our last receiver available right now. Honestly, it's like him and then Will Shepherd. And that's really what we're down to right now. And even Savion Williams, I forgot. Savion's hurt as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of crap going on right now with the Packers camp. And this preseason game was brutal. But I just want to see more preparation and just more physicality. And I want to see guys act like they want to be there.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal for that receiver room for sure. I mean, it's interesting because on one hand, it's like there's no true number 1 receiver. Like that's the complaint, but it's like you've got 5 number 2s. So it's a really good receiver room, but man, that many injuries and the drops have been a thing for sure. So we'll see how it plays out. The secondary, though, you talked a little bit about, the play over the middle. Obviously, that's a linebacker issue, but the secondary, I know that's a big topic of conversation there. So did that look pretty good or?
Yeah, I mean, there's no Nate Hobbs, so he's out with injury as well. So we didn't get to see him in a preseason action. Keyshawn Nixon, we know what we have there. Is he going to be a true number 1 corner? We'll see. I'm higher on Nixon than most. Outside of that, it was really just rotational guys, but I did like what I saw from Bo Melton. Receiver turned defensive back. I put together a little clip cut up of him, and he just plays physical. Like it was a handoff to Braylon Allen up the middle, and this dude just shoots from cover 3 and just takes him out. Lower body tackle. And it's like, this is a receiver, which he's a gunner too on special teams. So that's where he's learning his tackling as well. I liked what I saw from Bo Melton and also Kalen King. He played a lot of nickel snaps in this game. And I think had 2 pass breakups, didn't allow a reception. He's a guy that, could definitely make this roster as that 4th and 5th cornerback, backup nickel to Bullard, Nate Hobbs. In terms of outside guys, Kamal Haddon was out. He's a depth guy. Hobbs was out. So it was down to guys like Isaiah Dunn, and they're not going to make the roster anyway. So it's really hard to judge in terms of like boundary corner right now.
I got it. Well, maybe that'll be a topic of conversation coming up.
Baz, can I ask Baz one question?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
I see Bo Melton as the backup corner to Nixon right now. Is that accurate? Is he actually the backup corner?
At boundary, it would be, like Valentine will be the first guy up, right? So it's Hobbs and Nixon on the outside.
Yep.
In base, right? And in nickel, they might slide Hobbs inside on like pure passing downs, but right now it's Javon Bullard on early downs. The next man up is Valentine. But after that, I truly think in terms of where the Packers are like placing him in practice and giving him first team reps on Tuesday. Yeah, I think it is because Haddon kind of was that guy, but Haddon's been hurt the past week and a half. So honestly, I think it is Bo, and he's getting better every day. Like he still has stuff to learn, but his footwork is good in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, I think I'll say it right now, he's making the roster as a cornerback.
Damn. All right.
Well, there's so many receivers on the team. You got to switch positions, I guess, just to make
it.
it. So
he could play the receiver too with all these injuries. He might tomorrow. We'll see. He might.
Yeah. Travis Hunter, eat your heart out, brother. Come on.
Oh, freaking Milton, baby.
All right. Nick, man, you guys had yourself a little preseason game as well. I'm actually really curious to see what your thoughts are on this one. Tied with TD's Dolphins. It's like kissing your sister. That's real fun. But there are ties in preseason games, and certainly you guys had one. Talk to me about your thoughts from this game.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that out-of-pocket comment. So
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Nick, you weren't expecting the out-of-pocket comment.
No. That was good. TD actually did not reach out to me, but I did reach out to him after the joint practice where the Dolphins got absolutely spanked, and he just didn't reply. Like hit me with a read, and I was like, wow, okay, so that's what we are. Okay. In regards to the Bears preseason game, obviously ending in a tie during the preseason, super interesting because it's in preseason, game's just over. I wasn't upset with the game at all. Like I wasn't upset that it ended in a tie. Like I saw a lot of good things that you wouldn't have seen from the Bears from the previous staff. So like Ben Johnson's obviously the big focus in this one because Caleb Williams wasn't playing. and there was a lot of rookies that played, but Ben Johnson was by far the number one focus. You saw a guy that had a lot of energy, very disciplined on his players. Like, he was yelling in the headset at guys for not getting put together correctly, yelling at guys on the sideline for, silly penalties, pre-snap stuff, holding, bad blocks, going up to Braxton Jones, giving him an earful. Then Dan Rochar, our new offensive line coach, giving him an earful too. So, like, the discipline and energy of the coaching staff was on display, and that's what was super exciting about this. Ending in a tie, totally fine. But there was a lot of good things that happened in this game that Bears would have lost this game if it wasn't for good coaches teaching the guys. For example, at the end of the first half, Bears were down 14-7 to Miami. And Luther Burton got a ball over the middle where he was gunning to the sideline, trying to get 1 second left to give the Bears an opportunity to go for the field goal, because Cairo Santos can kick his career long as a 58. The Bears were 57. Luther Burton knew, because of his coaching from Antoine Randall L., Ben Johnson, Eric Bieniemy, all those coaches on that staff, to say, get out of bounds as fast as possible. And for a rookie to have that smarts right there, I was super ecstatic about. So I think Ben Johnson did a great job showing discipline, having his guys ready, having them also knowing ball pretty well in that regard. So I thought that was a really good play. But the offense as a whole, with Ben Johnson and Declan Doyle, was moving really well no matter who the quarterback was. Tyson Bagent, over 100 yards passing, 1 passing touchdown. He did have a tip pass that went for an interception. Case Keenum, veteran, Vikings legend, one bar knows about, 2 touchdowns, almost 100 passing yards. Austin Reed, undrafted rookie free agent, comes in, almost wins the Bears the game. Unfortunately, undrafted second-year guy throws an interception, and then it gets called back. Bears try to kick it, just didn't end up happening. At the end of the day, the fact that he was able to prepare this team really well was what was impressive, and we didn't even see our starting quarterback out there. So that was big positive number one. Number two, seeing the rookies just absolutely do a fantastic job. Colston Loveland had some really nice blocks when he was out there. He did a nice 8-yard reception, got the ball moving, best tight end of the day for the Chicago Bears. Then Luther Burton, already kind of talked about him, had a 14.5 yard per catch average. Yards after catch totaled out of his 29 yards was in total 21 of those yards. So what we drafted him for was exactly what he was doing, and then showed those football smarts. Kyle Monangai, 5 yards per carry, bouncing off defenders, making opportunities for himself when the Bears offensive line was the 2s going against Miami's 1s for a while. Those 3 guys right there are huge impacts to your offense. One of them being a 7th rounder, still doing a good job. Then we got to see Ozzie Trapillo, our 2nd-round offensive tackle, who's competing for left tackle right at the moment. He outshined Braxton Jones, and he did go against the 1s for a second on Miami's side of the ball. Braxton Jones gave up 3 pressures, Ozzie 0. So I was ecstatic about that. He held his own really well. That's what you want to see, because Braxton Jones being on the last year of his contract, we might have to pay him big left tackle money, which I don't want the Bears to do. And I know Relentless Mike in the chat right now definitely knows that I am not a fan of paying Braxton Jones big money. If you can have Ozzie Trapillo on his rookie contract for the next 4 years after extending Joe Thuney, giving Dahlman a contract, and Jonah Jackson a contract, that's big right there. So big takeaway was that the younger guys were doing a really good job at containing themselves and also making an impact. Now, going to the defensive side of the ball, we saw guys that had really bad years last year have really good days. Noah Sewell, linebacker that we brought in a couple years ago, been in on the injury bug. Dude saved us from giving up a goal line touchdown on the opening drive. Had 2 tackles for loss and 3 quarterback hits. No sacks, but 6 total tackles. Austin Booker was an absolute menace against the 1s and the 2s. 3 sacks, 7 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterback hits. Ecstatic about it. At the end of the day, the Bears, younger guys that are depth pieces, showed that we don't have to worry if someone does get injured. Also, our defensive line rotation looked really, really good. So I was overall very happy with how Dennis Allen prepared the defense, the younger guys that showed up, how they put things together, got the ball moving. We almost had 300 yards of offense with the 2s and 3s out there practically the entire game. And we had some guys shine. Maurice Alexander from Detroit, Ben Johnson's weapon that came over. He had a really nice touchdown grab, and Antoine Randall L. coaching these guys to do the toe drags, to get things done in the red zone. And then on top of it, too, Ja'Day Walker, undrafted rookie free agent out of Texas A&M, who's also a special teams guy fighting for a roster spot. Great touchdown grab from Case Keenum. At the end of the day, I mean, like, again, it was a tie, but I felt like a moral win for the Bears because it was everything that we wish we would have had last year. And we weren't even playing our starters yet. So that's why I'm pumped about this upcoming weekend against Buffalo. But good game overall. Pretty happy about it. And a tie is a tie. But I don't even remember what you said. Like something about like kissing your sister or something. Whatever. It works. Whatever. Tie's a tie.
Well, that does not work. That does not work.
No, I meant the analogy, One Bar. Relax. This ain't
You heard it here first, folks. Nick says they're going 14-3. That's all I heard. Hey, the Luther Burton one's a big deal because I do know that he missed some time like through OTAs and early camp and whatnot. And Ben Johnson seemed pretty frustrated with that, like openly frustrated when asked about it. So the fact that he was able to come out and do something, I think that bodes really, really well that Ben Johnson's getting the best out of these guys. Like you hear at least when I hear from like the outside looking in, a coach kind of chastising a player in the post, like, I don't know if that's a good idea, especially a rookie. But in this case, he knew exactly what that player needed and it's worked. So that's really good to hear.
Agreed. Luther Burton, I mean, he had that hamstring injury that a lot of people were concerned about and people thought he was holding out because he wanted fully guaranteed money. Bears were going to give it to him. Like it was just literally whatever said in his contract. Like that wasn't going to be a problem. The guy was a projected first round pick in a ton of mock drafts. Bears got him at 39. And the second camp comes around, he's good to go. And he has been a star every single camp making some sort of play. And now that we got to see it in the game, he just looks comfortable. So I agree with you that Ben Johnson kind of getting on those guys, like he's very critical of Caleb in press conferences. He's critical of the offensive line. Like Dan Rochar today ripped apart Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright, both our starting tackles, openly. And that's kind of that tough old school football that I think needed to come back. And that's why I was pumped when I like kept hearing Ben Johnson. He's not like yelling into the mic, but he's saying, I'm disappointed. How can we make this better? And then he comes back and says, they're in the room, they're doing things behind the scenes, they're asking the right questions. So clearly he's gaining the respect of this team, but not like being overly aggressive about it. Cause it's not the old NFL where guys could scream at each other and it'd be fine. He's bringing back old school football, which in a hybrid case. And I think that's what's really special about this team. And that's why I think the locker room is so strong. Like Bears Social has been posting a ton of stuff and everyone looks very happy there. Along with that too, some of the guys that like I've had on the show and interviewed, they love Ben Johnson's mentality. And that's what they've been missing. They didn't openly say they missed it with Matt Eberflus, but the message was implied. And it's been a breath of fresh air. And that's why there's a lot of hope around this team right now. And that's why they're progressing the way they are.
Accountability and leadership. I'm going to switch over to this, Nick. You're going to jump off the screen, but I'll bring you right back on, brother. There we go. And I'm going to do one more as well. There we go. Last week, I felt like
I'm not going to get stuck.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Last week, not only did you get stuck, but you got taken off in certain phases. So it was a really interesting show for you. So I got to make sure that we're setting you up for success this week. That being said, I do want to call out the link pinned to the top of the chat is for the Patreon membership for Roundtable Sports. And the favorite thing that I have about this is that you can call in to this show as you see fit. So basically, if you're a Patreon member, you're going to get access to backstage in every single Roundtable Sports show, preferably this one here. Don Burr, this is for you. Call in, talk a little trash, ask some questions, talk to the panel here, and check it out for sure. So link is pinned to the top of the chat for that. Also, want to let you guys know, Roundtable Sports is brought to you by RotoWire, the best tandem fantasy football tool that there is, guaranteed. Promo code RTS for 15% off. And for me, I use this to sync up to my league. You can choose whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you fantasy football, basketball, hockey, looks like they've got racing. I didn't even know that was a thing. PGA golf fantasy, but any fantasy league that you have, you can basically sync to this app and then you can mock draft your heart out based off of your league settings. Every league is different. The league that I play in is a 2-quarterback league. It's a keeper league, which makes it even more complicated because it depends on the round in which a player was drafted. That's the round that you get to, keep. And there's a lot of complication that goes on with it. What I will say is everybody tries to prep through a mock draft. The problem with that is mock drafts are very generic. They're very basic, and you can't really get the feel of maybe a new league that you've joined or a league that is just different than most. RotoWire allows you to do just that, prep you, make sure that you are completely ready. And on top of that, it will join your draft in tandem. So all those mocks that you did, all that work that you put in, it will actually help you during the draft itself, make suggestions, make you the best fantasy player you can be. This is a product I've used for a couple years. Not to brag, but I usually win my leagues. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Promo code RTS, 15% off. Get the best tandem fantasy football app that there is. Oh my gosh, look at this guy. Dos Sinicar. He's muted. There he is.
There he is.
Picture day.
Picture day.
Picture day for Dos.
Gosh. What's this picture day, Dos? What? Are you in high school? Are you coaching? What's going on? You got to fill us in here.
I don't know if y'all asked me something or not. I just hear one bar laughing. I don't know what's going on.
Can you
So we have
not
to
hear me?
communicate through one bar.
Oh, so
Nope.
what is happening? Is this on my end?
Yes, you're in a car, Dos.
Well,
Dos
hey,
is
the
in a
hair
car.
looked good.
There
It must
goes.
have been picture day, man.
It did. It was picture day.
He was
It
glowing a
definitely
little
picture
bit
day.
there.
He was glowing.
I'm out of here.
Dos, are you pregnant, man? What's up? What's up with the glow there?
It was his maternity pictures.
Oh gosh.
That's what it was.
Man, I want to get.
Oh
those
my gosh, Dos. There it is. All right. Well, we'll see if Dos can make it back. I love how he had the gall to be like, is it on my end? Yeah, Dos.
In a
It's
car.
on your end. You're in a car, brother. Give me a thumbs up. Can you hear me, Dos? You got okay, yeah. Is it on my end? Yes, Dos, it's on your end. What are these pictures? What's going on? A high school football coach? We're trying to figure this out.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. High school football coach.
Okay.
So I missed it last year, and I felt bad, so I didn't want to miss it this year.
All right, that's good. You look fantastic, brother. God,
Yeah.
you look like an 80s like crazy, I don't know, action show hero. I don't know, man. It's phenomenal though.
Look, it is hot right now. Okay, so like, it's just hot. It looked horrible during the picture, though. It looked terrible. It looks better now, actually. So how y'all doing?
Oh, you're fantastic, Dos. You're back, man. We miss you.
Man, it's good to be. You know what? Just real quick, I just want to jump in here because I know Bass is like, yo, I didn't watch the other games. Bass, of course you didn't watch the other games, man. That Packers Jets game, you've seen enough. That's what
I didn't even watch that. I was away. I watched it when I got back. I had to hear what was happening and then go and sit there and watch the damn thing.
I got you. Okay.
Well, Dos, this is perfect timing actually, because we've just gone through the other 3 games. We've done a little promo read. You jump in, and it's a perfect time to talk about the Lions and the Falcons. The Lions get their first win of the preseason, but a lot more injuries, man. A lot more injuries going on there. So are you worried about this season with these injuries? I mean, this is something that really plagued this team last year. And here we go again. It may not be the big name stars, what have you, but depth is depth, man. So on top of talking through the game and your takeaways, make sure you hit on the injury part, because that's something I'm really curious about.
Yeah, it's real. If you hit it, it's depth this year. That's what it's about. And now we know the importance of it. So anytime someone goes down, and prayers to Mo Norris, I'm glad he's okay. But it's the secondary depth. Like right now at this point, we're in a positive world. You're looking at it as everybody's getting looks. So you got safeties playing nickel playing safety. You got outside corners like Rocky Sin playing safety. So you're getting a lot of cross training that you may not typically get, which could be good during the year. But at the same time, it's because everybody's getting beat up. And if you look at that cornerback room, once you get beyond 4, it's like new guys every day, it feels like. The big concern for me is now the interior offensive line. That has become the big concern from a backup perspective. I thought we signed Tristan Colon. He would be kind of the swing interior offensive lineman to back us up. And then he got hurt, and that sounds like it's pretty significant. So it's mainly that group. And again, it's kind of the same thing where now I'm like, okay, well, who do we start moving around? I mean, we're getting our tackles back. who can play at guard now. Like somebody has to stand out in that room because I thought the early standouts are now injured. Colby Sorstel. So that's the most concerning part. But you're right. I mean, it was nice to get a win. It was specifically good to see Kyle Allen play well. Like it just, the offense opened up when he was out there and he just felt like a vet. So I think it just, everything kind of revolved around that. We also got a first look at Tyleek and Tate Ratledge, which was cool. Tyleek impressed. I was happy with Tyleek. I thought that he looked exactly like what I expected. And that's not to say like he was amazing. He wasn't a big time pass rusher in that game, but he was really good against the run. And it's like, all right, that's what I expected. He did his thing. I don't need to see him again. And that's kind of how I feel about it. And Tate, it's like, it felt like it took a little bit, but then he started moving people. It's like, okay, that's kind of what I expected too. So I think it was just good to get a look at those guys. And then now it's just about sorting out this interior offensive line, because just like the depth at cornerback, it feels like every day there's new names signing. It's hard to keep up with. I'm gonna be honest. I know y'all have the same thing probably too. It's difficult to keep up with some of these names, and you're like, okay, don't know a thing about this guy. You're just trying to figure out. I'm trying to put name to number, and at cornerback, that's becoming difficult.
Dion is a hair model for Floby. Do you guys know what Floby is, or is this, you should, one bar. This
Absolutely,
is definitely,
I know what a Floby
okay,
is.
all right. Okay. Yeah. Should be in your wheelhouse. Listen, for those of you that don't know what a Floby is, this was like a late 80s, early 90s infomercial gem. Basically, you can cut your own hair by hooking this thing up to your vacuum. Absolutely incredible. So, Dose, that's you, brother. You got the hair model for the Floby going on. That's great.
That actually sounds super useful. I actually really like my vacuum. So one of my favorite appliances is the vacuum. So shout out to the vacuums out there.
Shout out to the vacuums out there. All right, brother. Good job. Good job. All right, let's get into these joint practices. This is my favorite part of the offseason. Because training camp's one thing, but you're competing against the same team over and over. And then you get into these preseason games and there are takeaways. Don't get me wrong. There's always takeaways, but usually it's like a deep position battle or something like that. You might get a glimpse of the starters and you're like, well, that was cool for 3 games, but joint practices is the best of the best for me. I mean, these are basically games happening on the practice field against opposing teams. And I think there's so much to glean from these, but 2 of them have already happened today, the Lions and the Dolphins. So Dose, we'll get to you in a second, but the Vikings and the Patriots had their joints. So one bar, why don't you fill us in? What happened to these joint practices? What'd you like about what happened and what maybe needs to improve here?
I love the joint practices. A lot of familiar faces coming back to Minnesota. Garrett Bradbury, Stephon Diggs. It was beautiful to see our defensive lineman, our new defensive front that did not play in the first preseason game, absolutely just light up Garrett Bradbury. It's so wonderful to see the other side of that, where you can just soak it in and be like, beautiful. Bradbury's on his ass. And that's what the defensive line did. I mean, that was the story of the practice. The front 7, which we didn't get to see in the preseason game because they sat them all. They were in the Patriots backfield the whole damn time. Drake May was not comfortable, and it showed. So that was a big takeaway right there. Again, the other big takeaway, which will continue to be a talker, is JJ McCarthy. McCarthy had a pretty damn good day. TJ Hawkinson, that man needs to stay healthy because he is JJ McCarthy's best friend on the field. He is looking at 87 often, and when he does, it pans out. So him and Hawkinson, very big day. Again, Addison as well. So JJ McCarthy played well against that Patriots defense. The running game, Aaron Jones played very good. Again, Jordan Mason was looking good. But to me, one of the biggest standouts, again, I said it with the preseason game, was the guards. They're just nasty. I mean, Will Fries, he looks like a sweetheart, but the dude plays very rudely. And Donovan Jackson, our rookie first rounder as well, was just putting guys on their butt, which was good to see because his preseason debut, I wouldn't say it was overly fantastic, but he needed to have some good practices. He needs to have another one tomorrow. But the offensive line, it's just the demeanor of these guys is night and day as far as them putting guys on their ass. And defensively, they played really good. The secondary looked good. There were still some guys that didn't play, but the story of the day was McCarthy, very good day. The front 7 just absolutely getting back there. Gabe Murphy, again, a guy I mentioned is from the preseason first game, huge practice. And I'll say it again, if I'm Dallas Turner, I'm actually starting to get a little concerned if this guy's going to jump him in the depth chart. I'm not giving up on Dallas Turner. He's had a good camp, but when it comes to the games, he did not show up. And again, today, not overly fantastic. So moral of the story, defense looked very good. JJ McCarthy looked good. Can't wait till we actually have Darrisaw and Justin Jefferson, two of our better players, actually on the field, because when you throw Darrisaw in to the mix on that offensive line, it's going to be a fun season, and they're running the hell out of the ball, something that Kevin O'Connell is not notorious for, and they're doing it. So it'll be very interesting to see if that actually carries over into the regular season.
How did Camp Darling Jeff Okudah look?
Jeff Okudah looked like balls. And it sucks because he's had a good camp. But he was getting lit up today. Today was not his day. It was not his day. Old 21, right. Man. I hope they got to make a Disney movie about this guy someday. Like, his first round bust. He comes to the Vikings and we turn him around. But this was not his day.
All right.
Deion's just smiling. He's so happy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He just, he's, Okudah sucks. All right. Dose, you guys got the benefit of probably the easiest practice of the season for the Lions, going up against the Dolphins, who everybody seems to be beating the crap out of in this division. I'm sure that TD is super fired up with how good they look, but the Lions, I hear, did pretty dang well for themselves in this joint practice. Talk to me a little bit on this one.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, honestly. Like, we're playing Miami, no disrespect, but I'm like, how much am I really going to learn from this? Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, if we're cooking, when I've seen them cooking cornerbacks, I'm like, who are we cooking here? I don't even know who these guys are. So, and then their offensive line's a disaster. So I hear, Hutchinson, he shuts 2 drives down with sacks. I'm like, all right, that's good. But against 2, Patrick Paul, like, what are we talking about? So, in fairness, it is kind of a nice little ramp-up game. I'll say the biggest positive, we've heard there's been a lot of Tesla stuff kind of flying around lately, which is exciting because I wasn't really sure how fast this was going to happen, but it does seem like pretty quickly he's going to just force himself onto the field in some role. I'm hoping it's a little bit of a Lions Kenny Galladay effect, 3rd round pick, small school. At least that's where he started. It'll kind of look like that early. That's my hope, is that he's like a mini Kenny Galladay. But overall, I think the big positive I take it is the ball placement. I mean, usually through these things, I feel like I don't really talk about Goff and stuff because you kind of just, you expect certain players to just be a certain level. It's like Saint. It's like, don't talk about Saint Brown. He just kind of does his thing. But I've noticed with a lot of these plays we're seeing is I feel the ball placement's getting stronger because it when I was there early in camp, we were missing every shot. I mean, it was like we were taking a lot of them, and I didn't see him connect one, and I didn't hear him connect anything, and it was like weeks, and it was like, all right, we're trying to take shots. We just aren't connecting anything. And these last couple of days that started to ramp up. I think the last day of camp against each other, there was a lot of positive notes from that. We saw some big plays. And then in like I said, in camp, you're facing cornerbacks that are just not great. And they're completing a lot of passes. It sounds like Jameson's rolling, St. Brown's rolling, Sam Laporta, and they're really getting the backs super involved in the passing game too. So for me, that's the biggest positive because that's going to be the biggest question. And it would be nice to just go out and have a really hot first game. Obviously it's against Green Bay. So, you'd love to have that. But just in general, just to come out and just do a fast start passing the football, kind of silence any questions early and just kind of settle in off of that. Because I know that's where the biggest question marks are going to be. And I think as of now, that seemingly is settling in a little bit. And that's been my biggest takeaway so far is that through all of the who's going to be here, who's not going to be here, that's been pretty steady.
Nice. Well, Lions turning things around a little bit. So good to go there. Dose, you good? You got us still? Yeah.
Right. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Like it was stuck on my face a little bit. So I didn't know if I should do something.
No, you're good. Yeah. It wasn't like last week where Nick was just like stuck there for a good 30 minutes. I was good to go. No, that's great to hear. All right. Another joint practice though, tomorrow, Packers and Colts. And I know a little bit of a bummer, the receivers love. But to me, I feel like the Packers offense, you've got a head coach who runs the offense. You got Jordan Love, who Packers fans seem to love and trust. So should be good there. I'm very curious about this defense though, and what they're able to do. I don't know if that's, something that you're worried about or paying attention to, but Bass, why don't you let us know what it is that you're going to be looking for in these joint practices with the Packers and the Colts tomorrow?
Yeah. Funny. It's, storm's coming in. It's raining its ass off right now. It's kind of symbolic. Because all these injuries right now, with the defense, it's going to be hard to judge, and we should still do well against this Colts offense, whether it's Anthony Richardson. I think he's back at practice from that finger issue, if I'm not mistaken. Danny Jones. But at the same time, two of our starting defensive backs are going to be out until week 1. Xavier McKinney's out with that calf issue, and Nate Hobbs is out with the knee issue. Now, that does allow someone like Carrington Valentine to really step up and showcase why he could be a starting cornerback in this defense. Keyshawn Nixon, we're still going to get tested at the cornerback position, which I'm all about because, trial by fire. Keyshawn Nixon, it's going to be his first year heading into week 1 as cornerback number 1. Last year it was Jair. Of course, he got hurt, and Nixon was cornerback 1 most of the season, but it's his first year kind of in that role heading into this. And this defense overall, there's some things that need to be proven from last year, and one of which is the pass rush. We went out and drafted Barron Sorrell, drafted Colin Oliver. Oliver is yet to practice yet, so that's a little bit of a bummer there. Lucas Van Ness, year 3. He's stepped up heavily since the pads have came on. It seems like every day of practice he's making a play. But then, of course, like everyone else, last Tuesday, he ended practice kind of walking off to the sideline. I don't really know what happened. I think he got slammed into with Luke Musgrave. They collided. There's been no real update on that. I'm sure we'll get one tomorrow. I'm hoping it's nothing serious because Lucas Van Ness has also been practicing very well. So, the defense, we know Edgerrin Cooper. We know he's that guy, right? So he's been flying around. It's good to see him. And I love to see him against, the Colts offense. Anthony Richardson, more of a running quarterback. How can Edgerrin Cooper kind of contain him in this joint practice? But overall, like you said, it is a bummer because Jordan Love and Matthew Golden were really building something in practice. And now we don't have Jordan Love, right? And even Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs seem like every day making a splash play. Now we don't have either of those guys. So it's still going to be interesting to watch Malik Willis go against this defense because we saw him last year, even against the Colts, do really well against that defense. So Malik Willis is fun to watch, but it is still a bummer because, like you said, joint practices are something that sometimes give you more than preseason, which I 100% agree with because you get to see these 1v1s, right? You get to see the 11v11 reps and all that more so than you do in a preseason game for the most part for the starters. But outside of that, there's still plenty to watch for. Jordan Morgan at left tackle, Rasheed Walker should be returning. Marshawn Lloyd returned. If he can finally stay healthy through a physical practice, that would be great because when he is on the field, everyone's been raving about him. They're saying that this guy is so much twitch inside. He has so much twitch. Like he can stop on a dime. He's looking really good out there. He just has trouble staying healthy. So I'm really hoping, that can happen. Savion, maybe we could see more of him. He's been kind of on and off with injury, but overall it's kind of going to be hard to judge, these receivers in this offense overall without Love out there.
How's Liberty's own Malik Willis doing?
I love Malik Willis, man. He's a guy that I thought that was an excellent trade for Brian Gutekunst, and he's put together some solid practices. I think he's a guy that he's not really, I don't want to say not worried, but he's not really worried about Jordan Love in a sense where it's just like, hey, I'm just going to show up and show up to practice and play ball. And that's what he did last year when Jordan Love got hurt. And Matt LaFleur kind of went into his bag and kind of cooked a little bit with those game plans with Malik Willis. So I don't think there's going to be, oh my gosh, this Packers offense is brutal without Jordan Love. Like Malik Willis can definitely hang with this offense. And we saw it against the Colts last year, even though we pretty much ran the ball like 45 times. But nonetheless, I really like Malik Willis. He's on the last year of his deal. Depending on what happens this year, hopefully he doesn't have to play, but he's a guy that I could totally see, next year a team saying, hey, let's bring this guy in the building and he could compete for a starting spot.
Yeah, Malik Willis, man, he very interesting start to his career. I will say with the Titans, he was just kind of cast off way too early, and it's too bad. But I'm rooting for him, and I thought he had a couple pretty good games last year in Jordan Love's absence, and it's good to see that he's still on that trajectory. All right, Nick, it's your turn, brother. You guys actually have, if of all the teams that are getting joint practices, the Bears, Bills joint practice, I think there's a lot that you in particular can glean against a very, very good Buffalo Bills. Talk to me about your thoughts with these joint practices. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm pumped that we have two against what I mean, Miami, I was hoping Tyreek Hill would be out there. Obviously, Miami's had, ups and downs. They do have a decent quarterback. But Buffalo is going to be an actual challenge. Like that one's going to be a lot of fun. I love that they're doing it in front of fans too. But there's a lot to look out for here. You know, the Cook extension, obviously, that's big for them. There's going to be a lot higher vibes for the Bills. And it's going to give this Bears team a challenge. Like our defensive line has looked really good with Dennis Allen so far. But how good are they going to be against that Buffalo offensive line? How good are they going to be getting pressure on Josh Allen? How good are they going to be getting after the backfield against a legit running back? There's a lot of things to look forward to at this Bills-Bears joint practice, because also with now the starters playing this weekend, we kind of get that little, peek under the hood. What's going to happen? Like, how are they going to play? How is Ben Johnson going to adjust if we have a bad practice against the Bills? How's Caleb going to do against the overall Buffalo Bills defense and how tough they are? I love these joint practices. And I know we talked about it at the beginning of the show, and sometimes they are more important than a preseason game because the guys, like, you get to see them go 100%, especially your starters, for over a couple hours. What I'm looking for is how Luther Burton, how Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, and those guys do against Buffalo's secondary, because they've been going against a tough secondary in Chicago, but Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson have been missing. Buffalo has a pretty decent secondary. They have a good overall defense. It's going to be interesting to see how Ben Johnson's offense does against them in the joint practice. Again, what I'm looking for mostly is offensive line play, because that left tackle competition between Braxton Jones, Ozzie Trapillo, Karan Amagaji, and now Theo Benedict, our second-year guy from Canada, who has come onto the scene and really made himself a good bid to go for that left tackle spot. We're going to see it a lot against Buffalo. So new defense, new offense, new opponents. Guys, like, practice today was kind of boring according to reports because, they're just playing each other now. They know what their weaknesses are. They know what their strengths are. Now we get to see it against a legitimate team that is constantly in the playoffs with an MVP quarterback that's going to really put our defense to the test and also put our offensive line to the test and see exactly how this offense flows. So I'm pumped about it. I love that it's the Bills on top of it, because then I can also, if it goes in the favor of the Bears, then I get to reach out to Dan and be like, man, I'm just taking down the Roundtable CEOs, man, just one after the other, picking them off. And then also we get to see Money Mitch Trubisky come back to Chicago. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Money Mitch, man. That's a great nickname. Gosh. All right. Hey, before we get out of here, I have a random question for each of you. And I don't even want an explanation. No explanation. I want to hear the answer. Give me who's going to finish first in the division and last in the division. No explanation. That's all I want. So, Bass, I'm going to start with you. First in the division, last in the division.
Packers, Bears. Come on, man.
All right. One bar.
Vikings, Packers.
Oh, Packers. Jeez. Okay.
Sorry,
Nick.
Bears, Packers, and not in Bass's way.
Dose, what do you think, man?
Don't you dare.
You know where this is going, Baz. That's what I hate. That's what I hated going last for.
Thought we created something up in Green Bay, man. Come on.
Okay. Lions, Bears.
Okay.
That was easy.
Okay.
Wow. What'd you guys
Bears.
do in Green Bay? Just share a hotel room and tickle each other a little bit? Jesus Christ.
Now we had that Roundtable Airbnb. You know how it is.
We're going to prove a lot of people wrong there, Bass and Dose. You guys, I'm going to be at the top of the mountain. You already know.
Hey, real quick though, what's the title about?
Yeah, that's
what do you
crazy.
mean what's the title about?
That's a crazy title.
NFC North. Is there something specific there?
Yeah, we're cooked.
No. Yeah, it's called clickbait. I don't know what do you mean.
Yeah, we're cooked.
Just like, will you let me cook over here, Dose? Jeez.
Hey, maybe it was.
Did ChatGPT tell you to write that?
No. I came up with that one all on my own. No.
I love it. I think it's great.
I
think it's great.
Just like kissing your sister, it's just boom, it was right there.
You love kissing your sister? Man?
No, that's not
second time.
All right, listen, this show is completely off the rails. Bass is in a storm. One bar is really the only one holding it all together. We got Nick calling from the jail cell. His collect call time's about to run out, so we got to get out of here.
Dion's
Dose is in a
ear to
car
ear
looking like
frozen.
an 80s actor, frozen.
Look at how happy
Golly,
he is,
man,
though.
with
Look
this
at how happy he is.
flow
Yeah,
of
because he's
ETs.
thinking about that little hotel trip between him and Baz, man.
TD was
We
there.
got
too.
hotel
Richie,
trips
come on
going,
now.
man. Too much. You guys are too much. Listen, before we get out of here, everybody make sure you like the stream. That's how you let people know all about the show. Over 6,000 subs now. The NFC North Roundtable leading the way over here. Dose is already out. And
I was trying to screenshot it.
do not forget that the show is brought to you, as always, by RotoWire, the best fantasy football tandem app out there. Promo code RTS for 15% off. All right, fellas, for the NFC North Roundtable, show number 2 in the books. Cannot wait till next week. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Bear down, baby.
Bear down.